Thanksgiving number one.
Happy
The place is already jumping.
Then we welcome you on this Thanksgiving Day.
Talk about football, Thanksgiving, traditional rivalries, and
memories. What would we be without them?
And tonight, they can feel stronger, more important than any other night.
The Giants and Redskins, one of the NFL's fiercest rivalries.
Memories are about the best of who we are, about everything we ever hoped we could be.
Not to mention that simple, wonderful feeling of being close, real close, to the people who mean the most to you.
The best memories stay in your mind for years, even decades, and stay there so powerfully you swear you can still taste them.
So yeah, tonight's about food, family, and traditions, and of course, football.
I'm off. Leon left. No!
Clark, touchdown!
But most of all, it's about the people, the places, and the moments you never forget.
Watch him unload right there.
Even old rivals could appreciate that.
Even them?
Even them, partner.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Enjoy the game. A look at the U.S. Capitol on this chilly Thanksgiving night, and 15 miles to the east, FedEx Field in Landover, Maryland, as the Washington Redskins take the field. And there is Kirk Cousins ready to lead the Redskins against the New York Giants, and Eli Manning on this Thanksgiving edition of Sunday Night Football. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle DeFoya. When the season started, the Giants had sky-high expectations, but it has been a thoroughly forgettable season. The Giants started out 0-5. They're now 2-8 when it looked like things couldn't get worse at the Meadowlands before the game last Sunday. Eli Manning delivered a passionate pregame speech in the locker room, and the Giants went out and upset the heavily favored Kansas City Chiefs. For Washington, they've been all over the map this year. 3 weeks ago, a huge win at Seattle. Always a tough place to win. Looked like they might get rolling. Come home, lose to Minnesota. Go to New Orleans last week, have a 15-point lead late in the fourth quarter, and blow it. So they come in with a record of 4-6. And Chris, they also come in not only with a losing record, but injury ravaged.
Yeah.
What's their plan tonight?
Well, they've got so many injuries to that Redskins offensive line. I think they're going to probably come out and try and establish a run and then set up some big plays with Kirk Cousins in the passing game down the field. But it wouldn't surprise me at all tonight, with both of these teams facing a lot of injuries, that the team that runs the football the best comes out the winner.
When a team is 2-8, as the Giants are, you're playing for pride, you're playing for jobs, you don't want to get embarrassed. Any shot this team could possibly make a small late season run?
Well, some Giants fans may be hoping for a run to the top pick. I'm not sure which way they're cheering for it, but you know, with no Odell Beckham, a lot of pressure on Eli Manning and a lot of pressure on this Giants defense. They have a lot of stars on that side of the ball. Jason Pierre-Paul, Olivier Vernon, Landon Collins. So it's really going to be up to the defense to win it.
Thanksgiving night, it's the 10th time the Redskins have played on Thanksgiving, but it's the first time they played at home. So the turkey tailgate is winding down as the Giants get set to meet the Redskins next on NBC.
NBC Sports, home of Super Bowl 52, welcomes you to the following presentation of the National Football League.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your caps for the posting of our nation's colors, presented by the Joint Base Andrews Honor Guard. And now, we honor America with our national anthem, performed tonight by Master Sergeant Kerry Wilkerson of the United States Army Band.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Kerry Wilkerson with our national anthem, and we go to the field now and welcome in Michelle Tafoya. Michelle.
Well, Al, both of these teams are coming off overtime games that have them in very different moods tonight. The Giants beat Kansas City for just their second win of the season, and it came after Ben McAdoo broke with routine and held a team film session, the entire team together, rather than dividing them into position groups as usual. The session, described as brutally honest, got the players' attention, they responded, and McAdoo continued the team film sessions this week. Meanwhile, the Redskins suffered a crushing overtime loss at New Orleans, where they blew a 15-point lead with less than 3 minutes to go. Josh Norman told me, Drew Brees carved us up like a turkey, and added, we are reeling, we gotta win, we have no other choice, the Giants don't have anything to play for, we can't let them spoil our season. And another big storyline to watch, you alluded to it earlier, Al, both of these teams with major injuries across their offensive lines.
Michelle, the athletic training staffs are working overtime. Take a look at that. Long is their regular center, he's on IR. His backup can't play tonight, inactive. Laval is on IR. Trent Williams is one of the best, he's out. And for the Giants, the right side of the line, Fluker is out and Pugh is out. So neither team will get sympathy from the other as Nick Rose gets ready to kick off for the Redskins. And the Giants have Raymond back deep along with Shane Vereen. Vereen, number 34. And off we go on Thanksgiving night at FedEx Field. Vereen from the 5 and gets dumped at the 24-yard line. Good tackle made up at the 24-yard line there. Pete Robertson makes the stop. Let's meet the Giants offense.
Eli Manning, Ole Miss.
Orleans Darkwood, Tulane.
Roger Lewis, Bowling Green.
Tavares King, Georgia.
Red Ellison, USC.
Evan Ingram, Ole Miss.
Eric Flower, All About the U.
John Jerry, Ole Miss.
Brett Jones, University of Regina.
John Halapio, Florida.
Chad Wheeler, University of Southern California.
So the last two guys backups playing on the right side of the line. Orleans Darkwa is the new #1 running back for the Giants. Took over about a month ago. Takes it to the 28-yard line. So Eli Manning, an Iron Man, making his 210th consecutive start. His numbers, 14 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. The rating is not too bad, all things considered, especially considering the fact he has no Odell Beckham. He lost Brandon Marshall as well. Sterling Shepard has had migraine issues, so he is gone. And they lost Dwayne Harris earlier in the season as well. Second down and 5 now from the 28-yard line. Short drop, gets it away in a hurry, and it's caught by Evan Ingram, the #1 draft choice, but for no gain as we take a look at the Washington defense.
Stacey McGee, Oklahoma.
Ziggy Hood, Mizzou.
Matt Ioannidis, Temple.
Preston Smith, Mississippi State.
Zach Brown, North Carolina.
Zach Vigil, Utah State.
Ryan Kerrigan, Purdue Boilermakers.
Rashard Breeland,
Clemson.
DeSage Everett, Texas A&M.
DJ Swearinger, South Carolina.
Josh Norman, Coastal Carolina.
That's a defense that ranks 31st, next to last in points allowed. Third down and 4. Manning in the pocket throws, and it's a drop up at the 35-yard line. That's been a problem lately for Evan Ingram, and it's 4th down.
Well, the very reason Evan Ingram was taken as the top pick for the New York Giants was exactly this: one-on-one coverage. Anytime you get that look, he is expected to win. He had a pretty tough game a week ago, but not a good start here.
Brad Wing to punt. Crowder and Harris are both back deep. It's a short boot that will bounce, and it will take a Redskin hop initially and go down to the 31-yard line. Redskins come out. Let's take a look at their starters.
Kirk Cousins, Michigan State.
Samaje Perine, University of Oklahoma.
Josh Doxson, TCU.
Jamison Crowder,
Duke.
Ryan Grant, Tulane University.
Vernon Davis, Maryland.
Ty Nseki, Arlington Bowie High School.
Ari Quanjo, Alabama.
Tony Bergstrom, University of Utah.
Brandon Sheriff, Iowa.
Morgan Moses, Wahoo.
Talked about that line injury ravage. Some of those guys had to show up with name tags. As Cousins on a roll to the right, keeps his eyes downfield. He can run. And here he runs for about a 7-yard gain before he steps out of bounds. So Kirk Cousins playing for the second consecutive year on the franchise tag, meaning he couldn't come to a long-term deal, but he's still making almost $24 million this year. Question is, what happens next year? Do they sign him long-term? Does he become a free agent? 43rd consecutive start, and he says he's having his best year.
They can always tag him, but that number goes way up next year, up to the $34 million range, so it will be interesting.
2nd and 3, his numbers would verify that he's having a heck of a year. Now they give the ball off to the rookie Perine, and he's very close to a first down. They are minus their top 2 backs. Perine's their lead guy right now as we take a look at the New York D.
Jason Pierre-Paul, South Florida.
Damon Harrison, D. William Penn University.
Dalvin Tomlinson, University of Alabama.
Olivier Vernon, the U.
Devon Kennard, USC.
Kelvin Shepard, LSU.
Jonathan Casillas, New Brunswick High School.
Janoris Jenkins, North Alabama.
Landon Collins, Alabama. Darian Thompson, Boise State.
Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie, Tennessee State.
A Giant defense next to last in yards allowed, 30th against the rush, 29th against the pass. And on 3rd and inches, a flag is thrown, so we will hear from Terry McCauley for the first time tonight as Perine gets smacked by Harrison. And Terry McCauley checking with the Giant bench.
Offense number 79. Penalties decline. 4th down.
And they decline it there. That is Ty Nseki, who is the left tackle.
Damon Harrison right there. They call him Snacks, and here he goes, gobbling up the ball carrier right away. Does not even move a step or an inch forward once Snacks grabs hold.
So each team goes 3 and out. And Tressway, the left-footed punter, will send this one down to the 5-yard line. Takes a good hop for the Redskins, and it will be down there where it's touched at the 7-yard line by Pete Robertson. There's Mr. Snacks on a very appropriate night. Sunday Night Football on Thanksgiving night brought to you by Verizon. Best gifts on the best network. By Bose, official sound of the NFL. By Walmart. Rock this Christmas with Walmart. And by Toyota. Let's go places. Earlier today, Turkey Bowl. See, it was a beautiful day here. The Blue Knights defeated the Woodson Warriors to win the D.C. City Championship. Congrats to the Blue Knights. There's the veteran of the Turkey Bowl, Vernon Davis. Now, the rule is on that last play, when Robertson touched it at the 7, ran it into the end zone. Because he ran it into the end zone, it comes back out to the 20-yard line. So the Giants get a break there. As Darkwood picks up 2, it'll be 2nd down and 8. Back we go, Chris, to the play.
Yeah, you can see him, Robertson, catch it and just jog like he crosses the finish line. And his teammates are trying to tackle him. Like, what are you doing? Quentin Dunbar knew the rule and probably alerted the officials a bit as well. He just cost him about 13 yards on that one.
Yeah, just got here this week, made a great tackle on the opening kickoff. Then the bonehead play there to give the Giants 13 extra yards at 2nd down and 8 from the 22. Toss over the middle, and there's the game's first down as Darkwa gets it up to the 31-yard line. So when the season began, Darkwa was playing special teams mainly. They thought Paul Perkins would be their guy. They had the rookie Goldman. They let Jennings go in the offseason. And he's come on, and this guy's done a very nice job. He is averaging 4.8 yards per carry, and he's over the 500-yard mark now with that game here tonight.
Yeah, only a 215-pound guy, but he runs bigger than that, doesn't he, Al?
He does. He does, and he's been very effective through the middle. can help solidify that Giant run game. Here he is again over the right side where they have the subs playing tonight. And he takes it to the 34-yard line, 3rd down.
Well, and so you get the running game going with Darkwa a little bit. Now you're going to see some Bears defense inside here. So they're just not going to allow you to line up and pound the football against this defense. Plus, the Washington Redskins playing with now their 4th inside linebacker in there, Zach Vigil, number 56. So a lot of moving parts on this defense for this game.
From the 34, 2nd down and 7. Off the play fake. Manning under pressure. Gets back to the 32-yard line, and Ryan Kerrigan, no stranger to putting up big sack numbers, gets him.
Well, we got the new right tackle for the Giants on the outside, Chad Wheeler. Pretty good initial pop, but Eli Manning had to pull the ball down, and just too much. Ryan Kerrigan, the leading sacker now with 8 on the season. And that's what this game is going to be about tonight for the New York Giants. Can they protect the edges? The 2 leading sackers, Preston Smith on one side, Ryan Kerrigan on the other.
3rd down and 9, and that pass is incomplete. Josh Norman covering on the play. Roger Lewis, one of the heroes last week in overtime, the intended receiver. It's 4th down.
Perfect coverage that time by Josh Norman. Watch him undercut the route. So once he knows this thing's going to be a slant, he goes right underneath it. Would have taken a beyond perfect throw. So good start for Norman.
Wing for his 2nd punt of the night. And a fair catch is called for and made to the 21-yard line by Maurice Harris. 6 minutes into the game, Kerrigan now with 66.5 career sacks. A guy that Washington really misses, the great left tackle Trent Williams, Pro Bowl each of the last 5 seasons, but this is the 3rd game he has missed this season because of a knee issue. So he's gone. The Redskins start from the 21-yard line. Straight drop, then a pass to the right side. Running down the sideline there was Niles Paul. A little miscommunication, 2nd down. The reserves for the Redskins, 23 different starters on the offense, tied for most in the NFL. The only 3 guys who have started every game would be Vernon Davis, Kirk Cousins, and Morgan Moses, the right tackle. That's it.
A little music from Stripes. Looking
go.
for Bill Murray out there somewhere.
2nd down and 10 from the 21-yard line. Just a 3-man rush, and that pass a little high and incomplete. Intended for Pirine. Boy, they're missing Chris Thompson. Rob Kelly started the year as their #1 back. Jay Gruden just trying to find people to fill spots.
Yeah, but Chris Thompson was more than a spot filler, wasn't he? That guy was something special. We saw him earlier this season against Oakland. Such a good receiver, playmaker out of the backfield, good 3rd down guy, understood protections. They really miss him. Got hurt last week.
They bring Byron Marshall, who just got here off the Philadelphia practice squad, into the backfield, flanking Cousins.
False start, offense number 18. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
That's Josh Doxson, who was their #1 draft pick at a TCU last year. Talking about Thompson, Chris Thompson, before leaving Sunday's game with a season-ending injury, 2nd in carries, 1st in rushes, catches, receiving yards, and total touchdowns. And went on IR, so gone for the year, broken leg. 3rd and 15 after the penalty.
No pressure.
4-man rush this time. Marshall around the corner. And Marshall comes within a couple of yards of picking up the first. Gain of 13, but it's 4th down, 4th and 2.
And if you're wondering about Byron Marshall just getting here and being the 3rd down back, Well, Smaji Perine has been here longer, but he had no experience in the third down offense whatsoever, so they just dedicated Marshall to third down. Thus, he's playing in those situations.
Came from Philadelphia, where they figured it was close enough in terms of offensive scheme to put him in. Trustway, his boot this time. Elected at the 22-yard line by Raymond. And he runs out of bounds after about an 8-yard return. No score on Thanksgiving night in D.C. Later tonight, Jimmy Fallon caps off Thanksgiving with animal expert Robert Irwin and the great Jerry Seinfeld. Tonight show with Jimmy later tonight on NBC. Lincoln Memorial, Washington Monument, the Capitol. Beautiful sight on this 42-degree night in Landover, Maryland. Wayne Gallman is the Giants running back right now. Manning with a fake to him, and then the pass is not caught. Ingram is there, couldn't haul it in. The coverage by the linebacker Zach Brown. Pressure by Fuller on the corner blitz.
Yeah, Ingram just going straight up the field in the seam, but he's running with a guy that may be faster than him. Zach Brown won the 100 and 200 meters in Maryland. Ran like a 10-6, 700 meters. So while most linebackers could never stay with Evan Ingram, Zach Brown certainly can.
Brown with Buffalo last year went to the Pro Bowl. That pass is caught here by Rudolph, and he goes next to nowhere. Tackled by Swearinger with a penalty. Against the Giants, McCauley looks over toward Gruden and says, "You want to decline it?" Holding, he says. Yay or nay?
Holding, offense number 12. 10-yard penalty, second down.
So he accepts it. That is classic. So there's a kid dressed up as Ben McAdoo, and Mike Sullivan, with the glasses on, is the play caller and has been since about week 6 in Denver. That's great, and they're the originals. You know, I thought the guy who dresses up as Andy Reid in Kansas City was the best ever, but this may take the cake.
Those two kids, they didn't like that penalty, did they?
No.
They have their game face on.
Beautiful. 2nd and 20, the high snap, and then the high pass intended for Roger Lewis. 3rd and 20. So the Giants were 0-5, and then they kept it secret until the game. And we did that game on Sunday night in Denver. Denver was heavily favored, and only the coaching staff, and as you look at Mike Sullivan, Manning knew. Nobody else knew. The media didn't know. The players didn't know that Sullivan was going to get the play call.
Well, and actually only Mike Sullivan and Jerry Reese and Eli knew, so the rest of the assistants weren't even told about it.
We cracked the code in the middle of the game. This is Vereen bouncing his way from no gain to a gain of about 11, but well shy of the first down. Pushed out there by Norman, 4th down.
Well, one thing that I knew from Mike Sullivan was that if they got backed up and got in really uncomfortable situations, they are not going to turn it over. You've heard of complementary football. That's what the Giants are trying to do now. They're trying to play to their defense. Don't turn it over. Don't make a big mistake on the road. Punt it back and let your defense take another shot at them.
Wing for his 3rd punt of the night and the 5th punt of the game total. Faircats called for May, 28-yard line by Crowder. 6:40 to go in the opening period. 0-0. That's 1 week from tonight. Week 12 starts Thursday Night Football right here on NBC, with Washington going to Dallas. Cowboys going down today to the Chargers. Right on the edge right now, 5-6. See about the Redskins after this one as they come in 4-6. Washington has it at its own 27-yard line. And here's Perine over the right side, going nowhere. It'll be 2nd down. Casillas makes the stop.
Well, there's Landon Collins. He's sort of the straw back there on the defensive end. He was one of those guys wasn't too happy with Ben McAdoo. He had 3 of his plays pointed out in that nasty film session where they had a let's be honest with each other kind of day. And we asked him about it, and he said, well, you know, I went to Alabama. It's no big deal. Nick Saban did it every single week, but they put up the positive plays, did Nick Saban, and then they put up the negatives, and you did not want to be on the negative side in either of those meetings.
2nd and 9. He dumps it off underneath, and this is Pirine to the 36. It'll be 3rd down and 1, and we go to Michelle.
Well, I asked a number of players for their reaction to McAdoo's brutal film session. Janoris Jenkins said, no one took offense. We all understand that correcting yourself comes with football. Orleans Darkwood told me it definitely impacted us in a positive way. Everyone in this group responded. And Devon Kennard added, when your peers start holding you accountable, you don't want to let them down now.
Yeah, Michelle, something had to happen. They were 1 and 8, and then it was capped off by the Manning speech before the game, and they got victory number 2 on 3rd down and 1. A pass is taken one-handed by Crowder for a first down. A little behind him, and Crowder had to reach back, holds it in for a Washington first down.
Well, I still think that that guy right there is one of the better clutch players in the National Football League. Watch this catch. That's effectively a turnover. If he doesn't make that one-handed catch, they're going to have to punt it away. You saw at the end of the game last week, 3 straight passes to Jamison Crowder when everything was on the line, and he just keeps making plays for this football team.
10 minutes into the game, the Redskins pick up their first down. Cousins, who's great on play action, flips one to Pirine, and off he goes to midfield for a gain of 11 yards. Grant and Casillas make the tackle.
Nice job on the outside by Morgan Moses. Little outside set, and then Kirk Cousins threw a lollipop over the top there to set up that. Watch Moses jump way outside to get JPP to go inside and create room for Pirine.
Back-to-back first downs from the 50 now. And the ball to Pirine. He's going to cut it back, but he will be stuffed at the line of scrimmage. 2nd down and long, under 4 minutes now to go in the first quarter.
Right there's a guy, Olivier Vernon, that is just so tough. And Niles Paul is a pretty good blocking tight end, but Vernon on the outside can be just overwhelming at times.
And on the ground, that is the linebacker Curtis Grant, who needs the attention. And we're back in 30 seconds. If the Giants have one area that's been decimated by injuries all season long, it's at linebacker. And right now there is Curtis Grant, who is still on the grass here at FedEx Field. Hopeful of his getting up, but they're going to, at least for the moment, bring the card out. But the Giants have had issue after issue, both on the outside and in the middle at linebacker. Meanwhile, Dante Skinner, another backup linebacker who is active tonight for the Giants, he has a hamstring issue, and don't know about his involvement in the game. From this point on, B.J. Goodson is out. Calvin Munson is out. Giants are a wreck at that position. Take Grant back. At least he's able to hop on to the cart. Of course, Michelle will, as soon as we get it, get the information on Curtis Grant. So, so many times, Chris, you see these injuries on fairly innocuous plays. I mean, it's a little run to the left side and just get caught in the wrong position.
Yeah, a lot of times it is almost as much a misstep as it is anything else. And Everybody has their own theory on why, but it just happens that way. You know, at least the one bit of good news for the Giants defensively is they get Kelvin Shepherd back. They don't know exactly how much he's going to be able to play, but both these teams have been through so many linebackers, and Steve Spagnuolo knows very well that's the quarterback of your defense. I was asking him about all the injuries to that position, and he said, well, to give you the offensive equivalent, it's like losing your quarterback 4 or 5 different times during the year. So they got Shepherd back. He was cut by the Chicago Bears, re-signed, played 1 game, was out 1 with a slight injury, and now Baby called on to play a lot more plays than they were expecting him to play tonight.
Yeah, he was inactive on Sunday, so on 3 days rest he comes back in. Meanwhile, 2nd down and 10 now for the Redskins from midfield. They flank Marshall out. Empty the backfield here. Giants rush only 3, and Cousins is going to go down under that 3-man rush for a 5-yard sack. Harrison and Vernon, 2 of the guys they paid a lot of money to last year to shore up that defense, did a great job last season for him.
Well, Tony Bergstrom, the center, is going to get a little piece of snacks right here, and Damon Harrison is going to take him right back into Cousins, and I think that's who tripped him up. Pretty nice when you can get a nose tackle in a 3-man rush to lead you to a sack, and we have seen quite a few of these 3rds and longs. About him, as former shooting guard, had 38 points in a high school game one time.
Funny guy.
Yeah, he was.
3rd and 15 from the 45-yard line. Again, just a 3-man rush. And Cousins fires to the outside, and open and making the catch along the sideline is Doxson. But it's going to be 4th and 1 as he's a little short of the 1st down. Needed 15, got 14.
Oh, boy. Doxson on the outside. He drives up past the line, but then gets brought back on the other side, and all he had to do was just fall backwards for the 1st down. So many times young players just lose track. Big moment here for the Redskins. They need this.
His GPS broke down. 4th and 1 from the 41-yard line. Going for it. Off the play fake, play action. Cousins looking downfield, fires, dropped. Doxson can't haul it in, kicks the ball away, and the Giants get it as Washington loses it on downs.
So you know they're trying to get this going right there, so they get a nice, quick, easy one out there to Niles Paul. But defensively, good reaction by the New York Giants. Take that one away, force them to throw it down the field, and then it was Darian Thompson who made the breakup.
After Shepherd took away the initial receiver, and it's the Giants taking over with Goldman at running back at the 41-yard line. Goldman, a rookie out of Clemson, picked him in the 4th round. And here he goes. This run here bursts forward to close to midfield. A little short of the 1st down, 2nd down and 1 upcoming.
Yeah, Wayne Gallman, he was a big star playing for that Clemson team that won the national championship. 17 touchdowns, over 1,100 yards, and averaging just over 4 yards per carry here for his new team, the New York Giants. So they go in and out of backs a little bit, try a few different looks. Paul Perkins, the one that really started the season for the Giants at running back.
He's relegated to the bench with a less than 2 yards per carry average. Manning steps up, throws, caught, 36-yard line. That's Engram making the catch. After a rough start tonight for him, he hauls one in for a big gain in the 1st down.
Well, here's a guy that used to live on the back page of the New York newspapers, Eric Flowers, and yet it's been a long time since he is allowed a sack. There he is working against Ryan Kerrigan, their best pass rusher. Eli simply steps up, throws a dart, and they've got a little something going.
Yeah, he was getting killed in the press after the 2nd game of the year against Detroit, but no sacks allowed since then. He's been quiet, and that's a good thing when your left tackle is quiet. Goldman to the 33-yard line, 2nd down.
That's a good description, really, of Eric Flowers. Everybody, when they talk about him, say he's quiet, right? But we were talking to several people, and they said, boy, is it good to see him smile. That big guy, you know, he doesn't say a whole lot, but you can see him smile a little bit more. You can see him relax. And Eli Manning thinks he's a better player because of it.
When the left tackle keeps his name out of the papers, that's a good thing. 2nd and 7 from the 33-yard line. Manning rolling. And nobody is open, so he flings that one into the stands. And we run out of time in the first. End of 1 here at FedEx Field. It's the Giants nothing and the Redskins nothing. Sunday Night Football on Thanksgiving night continues after these messages. Take a look at that. What a beautiful shot. Aerial coverage being brought to you by Geico. The Capitol, the Washington Monument, Lincoln Memorial alongside the Potomac River on a gorgeous, clear 38-degree night in our nation's capital. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya. Happy Thanksgiving. 3rd and 7. The Giants, and Manning's going to get sacked from behind, and that's Kerrigan again. That's 2 for him tonight.
Anytime you want to slide the protection away, that means somebody has to be one-on-one. This time it's Chad Wheeler again, and once again, Ryan Kerrigan goes right around him. He was undrafted out of USC, had a few issues off the field, and right now Kerrigan is running circles around him.
So Brad Wing has been a busy man tonight. This is punt number 4. And that one will be taken at the 5-yard line and down at the 4-yard line by Dominique Rodgers-Cromartie. For the Giants, you know, a lot of people thought they would be the cream of the crop in the NFC East, maybe go to the Super Bowl, anything but. And of course, everybody was in New York, not everybody, but a lot of fans calling for the scalp of Ben McAdoo, Jerry Reese, ownership with John Mara, Steve Tisch saying we will evaluate everybody at the end of the season. Do you think McAdoo still has a chance to keep his job?
Well, I do, in part because Eli Manning is 36, will be 37 next year. Are you really going to make a change for the quarterback that may be in his last year, 2 or 3, to try and turn it around? Now, if you're telling me we're going to go after a new quarterback and change everything, then maybe they do go after a new coach. But I would say that's his best chance of keeping that job is the fact, Well,
that's a really good point. Meanwhile, you got the ball on the ground, and you've got a turnover at the 5-yard line. Kerry Wynn is the man who comes up with it. Collins comes in. May have been Collins who created it. Is he down, though, is the question. Elbow is down. Pirine has it. They have signaled a fumble and a turnover.
Yeah, his backside may have. No, it didn't hit the ground. Elbow did, though, and that's really what knocked the ball out.
So they'll take a look at it. You don't have to challenge it because the ruling on the field is a turnover, so it is automatically reviewed. And just from what we're looking at right here, it appears they're going to call him down with the elbow on the ground. Still has possession of the ball before it comes out. And the way we look at it, it appears that the Redskins will maintain possession and avoid an early disaster.
Yeah, it certainly looks like points are going to be a premium here tonight. So big moment, but I can't imagine that one is going to be a fumble.
Yeah, he's already coming back, and the Giants, I think, understand this too.
After review, the runner was down at the 5-yard line. 2nd down.
It's called reversed. Gain of 1 on the play. As it turns out, it will be 2nd down and 9. It was Collins who got the ball out.
Yeah, Landon Collins was 3rd in the NFL Defensive Player of the Year voting a season ago. Defensive Player of the Week after he got a little chewing out in that film session. Got him fired up. He really was. He was flying all over the field last week.
2nd down, we'll call it 10 as they don't give him that yard at the 5-yard line. Cousins looks over the middle and winds up with a 7-yard pickup to Niles Paul, the number 2 tight end. 3rd down, called it 3rd and 3. Jordan Reed, another guy, key guy for Washington, the big tight end, he's out.
Jordan Reed and their two top running backs, Chris Thompson and Rob Kelly, they're out. Terrell Pryor, the guy they brought over from Cleveland, thinking he was going to be an asset in the passing game. Not so much, but they are missing a lot, along with that entire left side of the offensive line. It's easier to talk about who's survived this season.
Third and a long 2 as Cousins dances around and flips it out to the flat. And they're going to be short of the first down again as Niles Paul makes that catch and cannot get to the line to gain 4th down.
It's always, where does the ball cross the line? That's where he's out of bounds. You'll see Paul kind of reach out with the football right there, and I would say definitely short of the line. Really, the reach happened after he was out of bounds.
Tressway, his 3rd punt and the 7th between the two teams tonight. Able to get it away. Look out at the 38-yard line, making a dangerous decision with the flag coming in at the end of the play. I believe Raymond had one of the Redskins bearing right down on him.
Yeah, Dunbar was coming down. You thought it was just going to be a massive collision. He actually had to pull off. Was he too close?
During return, illegal block in the back. Receiving team number 37. 10-yard penalty. 1st down. Timeout.
Ross Cockrell. 12.5 to go to the half. Zip, zip.
Aside from the turkey, what's one side dish? Well, my favorite thing is getting a fork, getting a piece of bread, getting a piece of turkey, some gravy, some mashed potatoes, some corn, some sweet potatoes, some green beans, putting them all on the same fork and taking a bite, mixing them all up together. That's the best.
Imagine Thanksgiving dinner at the Gruden household.
There are some good stories to be told there, so they are something else. But Jay is really a funny, entertaining guy. A little bit of a gallows humor this time around with all the injuries, but
will make you laugh. Darkwa picks up 2 as the Giants begin this drive. We've had only 4 first downs in the game and 7 punts.
How about Jay Gruden, though? He ended up seeing a sign in Tampa for the Arena League, hauled the coach, ended up getting a job as quarterback, and then won championships 4 years out of 6 years that he was there. Went on to be a coach, was voted like one of the top 5 players in Arena League history.
Played quarterback at Louisville. There's Kerrigan chasing. You got a penalty, and the pass is caught. But McCauley throws the flag there. Tavares King.
Holding offense number 74. 10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
He'll have that completion taken away, and that's Eric Flowers with the call.
So what did they do? Now they're going to slide away, and this time force Flowers to be one-on-one with Kerrigan, and that didn't work out so well. He kind of had him hooked around the neck the last time, let him go this time, but they're probably going to have to do this. Slide the line one way and then chip with a back or a tight end on the other side to try and help these two tackles. That's the key to the game.
It's Nseki, the left tackle, who gets stretched out. Meanwhile, you got Shane Vereen here on a 2nd and long, picking up 3 or 4. 3rd and long upcoming.
Well, believe me, the last thing in the world the Redskins can have happen to them in this game is to lose another tackle. Simply cannot happen. They don't have people with tackle experience after all the injuries they've had. I guess Tyler Catalina would be the next one in on the outside, but I think they're hoping to avoid that one.
3rd and 15. 4-man rush, pump fake, throws open, making the catch along the sideline is Roger Lewis. So Lewis, who would have been their 4th or 5th receiver at the beginning of the season, is now number 1, clearly the wideout. 19-yard gain.
Well, watch the pump fake, and the pump fake is supposed to hold this safety right here long enough to throw it in that shot right between the cornerback and the safety, and as a wideout, you know you're going to get drilled on that one. And yet there it was, Lewis making a nice catch. Boy, did he make a clutch play at the end of the game against Kansas City to win that one.
Converting on 3rd and 14, and now over the right side, taking it to the 49-yard line goes Darkwa in his 4th year out of Tulane.
Well, one of the guys that we haven't had a chance to talk about yet is the new right guard right there, John Jalapeno. And he is taken over for DJ Fluker. Now, DJ Fluker is a massive man playing that guard position. And they run so many of their run plays behind him. Jalapeno, a physical guy as well, maybe not quite what Fluker was before his injury.
2nd down and 5. Manning quickly to the right side. That's caught. That'll be a 1st down. And that's Rhett Ellison, who's been around for a while, played with Minnesota, picked him up in the offseason as a free agent, 6th year out of USC.
It's always a little strange when you see some of the best pass rushers in the game drop out in pass coverage. But if you're going to do all those exotic blitz looks where you're going to bring linebackers and blitz safeties and do all that, in order to do that, sometimes you have to drop those good pass rushers out in coverage.
Give it to Darkwa again, and he bounces his way down to the 37-yard line.
You know, Orleans Darkwa was someone that they've always liked, and McAdoo was joking a little bit. He said, I was taking a lot of heat for playing so many different running backs, but we always saw something in Darkwa, but he had these shin splints and real issues with that, so he was always in and out of the lineup, but they always felt like if he could ever stay healthy, he could really help them at the running back position, and he's starting to deliver now.
6 carries for 23 yards. Now they give it to Gallman. Boom. And he gets bent back. Zach Brown is there to bury him. 3rd down.
Oh, Zach Brown put his toes in the sand here, didn't he? Coming across the formation, and it was initial hit there by Vigil. And then it was Brown that lifted him off the ground, and that's a partnership tackle.
So the Giants 52 yards on the ground. Decent running attack tonight, 3rd and 2. And Manning will convert here on the pass to Gallman for another 1st down.
Yeah, another pump fake that time by Eli Manning. It looked like Brown was just behind right here. Watch him take a half a step that way when Eli does the pump fake to the outside. Just clear enough room right there for Gallman to be able to make the catch.
Giants with a big 3rd and long conversion have now run 8 plays on this drive. They have 3 1st downs on the drive, and there's a 3-yard gain for Gallman to the 27. This is the Giants' deepest penetration of the night, halfway through the 2nd quarter.
There's defensive coordinator Greg Minuski. He is an old school guy. He believes that the quarterback must go down to win, and there is a big injury for the Washington Redskins.
That is Zach Brown. Went to the Pro Bowl as a Buffalo Bill last year down on the grass. Zach Brown up and walking around. He got kicked in the chest and in the knee on that last play, so he has to be out for at least a play. Walking around on the bench at 2nd down and 6 now. This play resumes for the Giants from the 26-yard line. Cutting off the right side is Wayne Gallman. Tackled there by Stacy McGee. It'll be 3rd down and 2.
It's pretty amazing, all the injuries, and here go the Giants quickly to the line of scrimmage.
Here it comes.
They're 2nd in the league in frequency of no huddle. This time it doesn't work. McGee tackles Gallman, and now you've got a 4th down. Manning looks over at McAdoo. 4th down and 1 at the 21.
Stacy McGee here with 2 plays in a row. This is nice. Just going to split the offensive line of the Giants to make that play, and now put the pressure right back on this Giants
Brown
offense.
Brown back in the game for Washington. Giants going for it on 4th and 1 from the 21. Darkwood, and he should have it behind a Shane Smith block. Number 43 came in to help lead the way and move the chains.
Shane Smith and John Jerry right here. This is the toughest of all blocks. These defensive linemen get down low. You have to dig them out of there just enough for that first down. John Jerry's been starting at guard, just hard to pick out which one. He's been bouncing back and forth all season.
Well, Brown got back into the game, and he's the guy who got blocked by Smith, who was saluted when he went to the bench. Ball at the 19 now. Manning stepping up in the pocket, throws, and it's a short gain for Roger Lewis. Got to about the 16 with forward progress. It'll be second down.
The one thing the Giants just don't have with Beckham and Marshall and Shepard, all those guys out of the game, is speed. The one guy that runs under 4.5 is Tavares King. The rest of them 4.6-ish and above, and so you have to stay with those short underneath passes.
14th play of the drive for the Giants. Through the middle, that hole closes fairly quickly. Darkwood to roughly the 12-yard line, third down to 3. A.J. Francis makes the tackle.
Here's one guy that's won a lot of favor with the New York Giants. Brett Jones inside is just a big, powerful guy. Used to play a little hockey. Whenever they talk about tough guys on their offensive line right now, the conversation typically starts with Brett Jones.
15th play of a drive that's consumed more than 8 minutes. A 3rd and 3 at the 13. Here they come, and the pass is too high and too deep for Vereen coming out of the backfield. So Manning getting rid of it in a hurry off the blitz. 4th down, and the Giants will try to take a 3-0 lead.
Zach Brown's going to be in man coverage here right there, and you're going to see Vereen weave his way through, and they'll come over and just create traffic for him, and he was wide open. This is going to be one of those almost touchdowns, if not touchdown, and they just could not hit the pass.
Aldrick Rosas, rookie, 30-yard attempt to try to break a scoreless tie, which he just does inside the right upright. 4 minutes left in the half, and the Giants take a 3-0 lead in Washington. Tomorrow, take some time out from shopping hockey. 1 o'clock Eastern Time, the Pittsburgh Penguins against the Boston Bruins on the Discover NHL Thanksgiving Showdown. NHL hockey tomorrow, right here on NBC. World War II monument in our nation's capital. 4 minutes to go in the half. This is Marshall to run it back, and a flag as he brings it back to the 23-yard line. We'll hear from Terry McCauley next.
Personal foul, grasping the face mask. Receiving team, number 64 during the return. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
A.J. Francis, how about some Thanksgiving thoughts from some of tonight's participants?
The one person I'd invite to Thanksgiving dinner would have to be Kobayashi, the hot dog eating guy. And I want to challenge him to eat off, see if he can eat some real food.
I would probably have to say I'd invite Will Ferrell just because he's funny. I know it'd make it for a fun time, and he'd make for some good jokes.
Love it. Can you imagine Kobayashi at Thanksgiving dinner? That's great.
He's so funny. Damon Harrison is so funny.
Beautiful.
He just loves life, loves to play the game, and kind of figured out how to play that nose tackle position. That it was all about his hands. It's all about his grip. So he used to put his hands in big buckets of rice and just keep squeezing them for hours at a time. And his hands are so strong it can just throw people now.
Paid off with a huge contract for him. As the swing pass is taken here, and fighting and getting that first down is P-Ryan. Your snacks in the first half thus far.
One of the great nicknames of all times. I just love it. Snacks is somebody you just can't get away from, right, Al? And you end up just keep pounding away, and you try and run, and you double team him. You do whatever you can inside, and then the surprise is that he's a factor in the pass rush too. he can just walk those centers right back into the quarterback.
And an interception off Alex Smith on a shovel pass last week against the Chiefs. And that pass, and there's a miscommunication there because not turning around down the sideline for an incomplete pass. It'll be second down and 10. There was Davis. By the way, Curtis Grant, we saw him, the linebacker for New York, is ruled out for the rest of the night with a knee injury.
You know, we haven't seen much of what we have seen lately, and that's Josh Doxson, who is an excellent guy going up over the top and making some of those 50-50 jump ball catches. Hasn't had much of an opportunity for that tonight.
Let's see if that eventually happens. It should. Myron Marshall gain a 1 here. 3 minutes to go. You know, one other thing about Snacks Harrison, we can talk all night about him, but you got to love the fact the guy winds up at William Penn College, which is in Iowa, and of course everybody thinks he went to an Ivy League school.
Right, and he's not telling them either.
No, he says that's fine. You know, I went to Penn. A beauty.
It was really fun.
3rd and 9. Cromartie dancing along the line, and he backs off into coverage. Just 3 men rushing and wide open over the middle, and getting into Giants territory is Jamison Crowder. Landon Collins makes the tackle, so that was a 3rd and 8, and that's good for 38.
Here's Crowder right here, just going to weave his way down through this cover 2. Once he clears the linebacker, there really is nobody there. And generally in a cover 2, you'll see a linebacker drop back into the middle. Just didn't get there this time.
2-minute warning. Coming up, the Toyota halftime. A lot of frustration right now in Big D after today's loss to the Chargers. Can the Steelers keep it rolling against the Packers? That's our Sunday night game here on NBC. Those are the discussions to be had at halftime. Ball at the 39 of the Giants. First down. Redskins have all of their timeouts. Cousins flushed out, looking deep downfield, throwing it into the end zone, and batted and broken up and incomplete. Janoris Jenkins is back there covering on the play. Intended for Doxson. It'll be second down after the incompletion.
It has been an up and down year for these New York Giants cornerbacks. Here's Jenkins, watch a little bit of under control, had it, almost had it twice. But both of these cornerbacks for the New York Giants have been suspended a game this season. Eli Apple, mom going through surgery, and he's missed a bit, and he had issues. Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie suspended a game. It has been a bizarre year for what was a tremendous defense a year ago.
Thompson almost had the pick on that play, and that's Pierre Paul batting it down at the line of scrimmage, setting up a 3rd down and 10 for Washington.
Watch Morgan Moses wrap both arms around the neck of Jason Pierre-Paul. That's a block. And then he still got out of that wrestling hold and made the play, almost made an interception. I don't think Jason Pierre-Paul is quite right. After watching him on film getting ready for this one, he is just not quite the full speed, wiggle moves guy that he has been in the past.
Had 3 sacks against Denver in that Sunday night game when the Giants broke the 0-5 skid, but none since. 3rd down and 10. Cousins, good protection, fires, and it's juggled and not caught. This time it is Crowder who can't hold it, and it's 4th down for the Skins. Dante Dion covering on the play.
This time Jason Pierre-Paul is going to work it back to the inside and create a little pressure on Cousins. It's amazing. I haven't seen this many tight ends play in a Giants-Redskins game maybe in my life. It has been 2 and 3 tight ends playing on almost every play, it seems like.
Way's kick is going to be caught at the 2-yard line. Great play by Dunbar right there to pin the Giants very deep. Sunday Night Football and Thanksgiving night brought to you by Nationwide. Nationwide is on your side. By Microsoft Surface, the official sideline technology provider of the NFL. By Bud Light, brewed to be enjoyed responsibly. And by Samsung. There were the Giants unloading turkey served meals at the food bank for New York City's Community Kitchen. And Monday afternoon, the Redskins hosted Harvest Feast right here at FedEx Field. 37 degrees right now. Ball at the 3-yard line. Giants looking for some breathing room. Give it to Shane Vereen. And we'll see if Washington now wants to take a timeout. Meanwhile, you've got, and they did take a timeout, but Ioannidis is also down.
Terrell McClain's already out with a toe injury.
Ioannidis with that club on that left hand, so he's already banged up coming in.
Man, oh man. These two teams among the most on IR in the league this season.
Take you about 20 minutes to read the injured reserve report for the Redskins. It's crazy. Anthony Lanier comes in to take that spot. Most players on injured reserve. 49ers with 18, and Seattle and Washington with 15, and the Giants right in that hunt you don't want to be in. 2nd and 7. Dark with the tailback, put the fullback in there as well. And the Redskins are right there to stop at the line of scrimmage as Zach Brown makes the stop. It's 3rd down, and Washington takes a timeout as they work on Ioannidis.
Well, defensively for the Redskins, it's been that guy, Ryan Kerrigan, who really has been attacking both edges. Here he is against Flowers. One big holding call over there. Then on the other side against Chad Wheeler, where he came up with a couple of sacks on that side. And now on 3rd down, it is decision time for the New York Giants. Mike Sullivan want to take a chance with his protection and leave Ryan Kerrigan an opportunity here maybe for the defense to put points on the board.
Looking at Sullivan, looking at his play sheet, 3rd down and 7. Jay Gruden's team has just taken its 2nd timeout, so 1 remaining. With 78 seconds remaining in the half. Eli with protection, throws, and nobody's home. Incomplete. And you got King looking back as if there was some miscommunication on the play. Breland covering, 4th down, and the Redskins will still have that timeout when they get the ball back.
Well, and that's what happens when you have young receivers in the ball game. Tavares King was supposed to go to the sticks, the 1st down marker, and turn around, and he ran about 4 yards past it, and Eli Manning threw it right at the sticks.
Brad Wing's 5th punt of the night. He's averaging 39 yards per boot. This will be in that neighborhood. Crowder from the 46 gets spilled just across the 50-yard line with 1:04 remaining in the half. All rise for Premier League mornings. 2 of English football's biggest clubs clashes. Liverpool hosts defending champion Chelsea. You'll see that Saturday, 12:30 Eastern, right here on the National Broadcasting Company. Redskins, pretty ugly. Punt, lost it on downs, went for it on 4th. 2 more punts. This is a team that scored 30 or more points in each of its last 2 games, only to lose both of them.
Get Vernon Davis going here. He's the weapon.
Cousins going deep downfield, and he got a flag here because Doxson looks around for the flag. He'll get it. Ross Cockrell held him, and that will move Washington deep into Giants territory.
Pass interference, defense number 27. Automatic 1st down.
He meant 37. Cockrell came over in a trade at the beginning of the season from the Steelers.
Yeah, and Cockrell played pretty well last week, but he just panicked on that one. He was really in pretty good position. He had his head turned back, and then thought he was getting away from him, turned his head back around to find the receiver, and in the process just grabbed and held. Good call by the officials.
37-yard penalty. Ball now at the 11-yard line. Cousins, and he gets smothered back at the 21. In the pocket there, that's Dalvin Tomlinson, rookie drafted in the second round from Alabama. He's played in every game this season, and he gets his first sack. Second down and 19 now from the 20-yard line. Cousins over the middle, Crowder going back the other way, gets around the corner though, and is out of bounds at around the 11. So they get most of the sack yardage back, and it's going to be third down.
Let's go back to Dalvin Tomlinson's sack and watch all the time that Cousins had here, and then it was Tomlinson coming up, but you saw it 3 seconds, which is a lot of time. Coverage everywhere, really nowhere to go with the football.
So now third down and 9, 25 seconds, still have the timeout.
One thing we know is that Jamison Crowder can run pick plays.
Cousins flushed out, he can run, but throws, and that's incomplete in the end zone. Ryan Grant had a touchdown last week in New Orleans. The intended receiver Cockrell covers. 4th and 9, and they'll send in the field goal group.
It's just so tough. They end up, when you're backed up like this, they play a zone defense. There's 8 defensive backs running around on the back end. And Ross Cockrell made amends for the pass interference.
Nick Rose to try to tie the game. Chip shot here, 28-yard attempt. Trust way to hold. Nick Sundberg to snap it. And through the uprights it goes to give Washington its first points of the night. So 3-3 here, but if you go back to 1929, 40 points were scored by Ernie Nevers in a 40-6 win over the Bears. 6 touchdowns, 4 extra points. No guy has scored more than 30 in a single game since 1965. Ernie Nevers for the mark that is going to stand for a while.
Does he have any grandchildren that might show up in the second half?
You never know. Oh, never mind.
Boy, how about today, though? How about the Minnesota Vikings? Is it possible the Minnesota Vikings play 3 straight playoff games in Minnesota, including the Super Bowl?
Well, folks there are starting to dream about that. There's a lot of dreaming going on right now. Philadelphia dreaming about a parade.
Absolutely.
Minnesota dreaming about hosting a home Super Bowl.
There's some good stuff going on at the top end of the National Football League.
Bring it out to the 25. How about some more Thanksgiving thoughts?
My favorite Thanksgiving dish would be ham. I don't know why, the sweet ham with the potato, with the pineapples on top of it. Amazing.
Aside from turkey, my favorite dish, sweet potato yams.
We're going to go to that spread in the back of the booth at halftime, too.
I'm kidding. I'm
very
talking about
just listening to it. Neil Down will take us to the break. So it's the Giants and the Redskins, longtime rivals, and we're locked up at the half. 3-3. Skins get the second half kickoff. Coming up next, it's the Toyota halftime after these messages from your NBC station.
Tonight's first half highlights are brought to you by Chevrolet.
Kirk Cousins ready to lead the Redskins against the New York Giants, and Eli Manning under pressure, and Ryan Kerrigan. gets him.
Just too much, Ryan Kerrigan.
And Manning's going to get sacked from behind, and that's 2 for him tonight.
Right now, Kerrigan is running circles around him.
Chevy has earned J.D. Power Dependability Awards for cars, trucks, and SUVs.
Not a lot of offensive capital at FedEx Field tonight. The halftime score is 3-3 as we start the third quarter. Eli Manning tonight, 7 of 14 for 60 yards, and he's been sacked twice, both times by Kerrigan, as you saw in the highlights. Cousins, there are his numbers. He's sacked twice, 115 yards. Kerrigan, of course, has been the story on defense for Washington, as he is so often. And the Giants' defense now has not allowed a touchdown in the last 6 quarters because they shut Kansas City out of the end zone last week. Limited the Chiefs to 3 field goals. Haven't been penetrated tonight for a touchdown, and now Rosas will kick off, and the Redskins will take it with Byron Marshall hopefully running it back, but the kick is deep enough. They'll take it to the 25, and we go to Michelle.
Well, Jay Gruden told me his offense has to manufacture a drive, and he said it starts on being productive on first down. 2nd and 10, 3rd and 10 is not the way to get it done. Meanwhile, Ben McAdoo likes the way his offensive line is holding up, getting off the ball. He hopes they hold up better in protection, but he said, we left some first downs out there, referring to the 2 drop passes by Evan Ingram. Guys?
Michelle, you're only a total of 6 first downs for the Giants in the game so far, and 5 for the Redskins. So both teams have left a few first downs out there tonight as we start the third quarter from the 25. On the ground, cutting it back up for a gain of 6 goes the rookie Samaje Perine, who is the all-time leading rusher at the University of Oklahoma. And that's saying something. They've had a few guys down there.
It is. And one of the things you can see they're really committing to, the Redskins is running the football. I mean, they came out on the first play with 3 tight ends in the game, so effectively they're just trying to spread this defense out and look for any running lanes they can, because the passing game just hasn't been effective.
On 2nd and 4, Perine again, effective right here as he takes the ball to the 41-yard line, where it gets tackled by about a half dozen white shirts. First down for the Redskins.
Well, for the first time, Brandon Scherf is going to end up getting snacks on the outside just wide enough. Of course, he's got to stretch out with that stretch play, and so much of it has to do with cutting off the backside on that play. But again, the wider you make it, the more tight ends in the game, the more those cutback lanes on those inside runs become available.
Nice start for the Redskins. 2 rushes for a total of 16 yards. And they can add a few more here. Perine pulling his way, but a flag is thrown.
Holding.
Coming back.
Offense number 60. 10-yard penalty. First down.
All right, Quanjo is guilty, so that'll move him back. Instead of a 7-yard gain, all the way back they go.
See if we can see it right there. Is where the hold took place. And, you know, this offensive line came out a week ago, and I was like, wow, they look really good, sort of like they did before that Raiders game. But you have 3 replacement players in since the start of that Saints game a week ago, and it's just been a little bit different here to get started.
1st and 20 from the 31. Cousins under pressure, down he goes to the 24-yard line. Devon Kennard with a sack. That's going to make a 2nd down and a mile.
All right, Quanjo, and you don't see Kennard that much go right there, but he goes right around Quanjo. Just great use of the hands to get up the field. And now you are looking at a big number on 2nd down.
And 27.
We can get Kennard, see if they can get JPP going a little bit on the other side. JPP sometimes understands things so well. He tries to time block passes and such and gives up his pass rush.
Ooh, to the outside, a lot of danger right there, intended for Crowder. Cromartie came in, he was looking for the pick, It's 3rd and 27.
Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie was like he was in the huddle. He had this one working all the way. One of those that easily could have gone back the other way. You know, it's really amazing to me. I thought this defense was going to be so good this year. I just thought they were going to pick up right where they did a season ago, and they just didn't.
Not even close. 3rd and 27. Try to get some of it back here. And after the 35-yard line goes Byron Marshall. Tackled there by Dante Dion. 4th and long, and in comes the punt group again, and this will be the 5th punt of the night for Tressway.
Steve Spagnuolo, he's proud of his bunch, and really you have to give some of the coaches on the offensive side of the Giants credit too, because they have basically slowed down the pace of the games the last 2 weeks, and it's really helped the defense.
Fair catch called for and made by Raymond back at the 16-yard line. Early 3rd quarter, locked up 3-3. It is the tradition here in Washington. The president pardoning the turkeys, or a turkey at least. Going back through time, President Bush, President Obama, and the other day President Trump. One lucky turkey per Thanksgiving. Meanwhile, the Giants here, Wayne Gallman stopped behind the line of scrimmage. Zach Brown makes the tackle. You know, the Redskins, I mean, granted they're 4-6, but if they win the game and you look down the road, it's a bit of a long shot. But in their first 10 games this season, they played the toughest schedule in terms of composite record of the teams they played. Now they'll have the easiest schedule beginning tonight down the stretch when you combine the winning percentage of the teams remaining on their schedule. So the tough part of the schedule is over. 2nd and 12. A little dump off pass here to Gallman. And he fights his way out to the 22 and the penalty.
Illegal block in the back. Offense number 18. Half the distance to the goal. 2nd down.
It's Roger Lewis, the wideout. Instead of 3rd and short, back we go to 2nd and long. But anyway, in terms of the schedule, the fact that, you know, they lost a lot of games to high-scoring teams, and it's a fascinating dichotomy there. The toughest schedule through the first 10, easiest schedule over the next 6. But they still have to win the games.
They've got to win this one first. You know, that's you'd think at home, and the way they've been scoring points, come in here and maybe get it going. But the Giants defensively are starting to look like it's 2016.
2nd and 18. And bursting through, getting 4 extra yards or so, is Wayne Gallman, 3rd and long.
Well, that's the job of the safety right there. DeShazer Everett's got to come up and make that play. He was in perfect position. That's his gap. You'll see him run right up into the middle of the hole, and he just missed it. It was a problem against the Saints a week ago, too. D'Angelo Hall missed a few.
3rd and 11. Manning deep down the left sideline, and the pass thrown over the head of King. So 4th down for the Gents.
You know, Al, we're seeing some pretty basic stuff out here tonight. It's not like these defenses are doing anything extraordinary. They have so many injuries, just some real basic, simple cover 2s and cover 3s, and you would think they'd pick them apart, and probably would if they had some of their weapons on the field out there with these 2 quarterbacks.
Both teams a ton of injuries. Both teams playing on short rest. Thursday game after not only Sunday games, but both of these teams went into overtime 4 nights ago, or 4 days ago, as Crowder goes back to accept this kick. Wing gets it away. Nice boot. Crowder eludes the first guy and then gets smacked down by Nate Barry at the 49-yard line. 10 minutes left in the quarter.
I'm thankful for so many things. It's hard to say any one thing, but certainly thankful for my family, for good health, for the job that I have. I'm living a dream and and certainly feel thankful every day for the opportunity I've been given.
Kirk Cousins talking about why he's thankful on Thanksgiving on a radio show the other day. He thought he was playing his best football, and you look at the numbers, you'd have to agree with him. And he's had some really good years, and again playing for the second year in a row on the franchise tag.
And they're trying to re-sign him. You know, Kirk Cousins made it very clear that they were making an effort to re-sign him, but he's not so sure this time around. He's going to take his time.
From the 50-yard line. Going to do that in a second here. In the meantime, a delay.
Offense
game.
number 84. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Play clock running down. So the question was in the offseason, what would they do? They put the franchise tag on him, and as you say, he said they took their time. Now I'm going to take my time. It's going to be pretty fascinating. If you tag him again, that's almost $35 million. That does a lot to your salary cap that you don't want. Or does he go someplace else? Does he test free agency if they don't?
Well, there are going to be teams interested in signing Kirk Cousins to a long-term deal. That's a fact.
For sure. First and 15 to the 48-yard line. Niles Paul. It's interesting, though, when you look at the possibilities, you would have said last year maybe the Rams, but Goff has now, turned that thing around. As you look at Dan Snyder, the owner of the team.
Garoppolo's in San Francisco.
Correct. Another team, you've got Shanahan there. Kyle Shanahan. How about Denver? I mean, they're going to get into the conversation here. Second down and 7. And that is caught, and Maurice Harris takes it out of bounds close to a first down.
Well, the one change they felt pretty good about for Washington was Ty Nsekhe, taking over for Trent Williams on the outside. They think he could play for a lot of different teams. The thing you lose, though, with a great player like Trent Williams at the left tackle position is his athleticism. Trent Williams runs like a tight end. So some of those screens and wide receiver screens, he can get out in front of those and create big plays on the edges.
Number 40, the play fake, and then over the middle. It's caught by Crowder. And Collins saves a touchdown. Tackles him at the 6-yard line. Exploit the middle, and a big gain there of 34 yards.
There's some quarterback play for you right there. He's going to see the slot blitz coming. What do? Throw it right into the blitz, because somebody has to come over and cover up for that guy blitzing. And that time Landon Collins just unable to get there in time.
P. Ryan is the running back here. First and goal, with 8.5 to go in the quarter. Here's P. Ryan. And the rookie out of Oklahoma to the 5-yard line. He goes. That'll make it second down and goal. They've held P. Ryan in check tonight. 8 carries, 20 yards.
Yeah, and the old quarterback there on the sideline. Jay Gruden needs something special here. Now he brings his third down back into the game. Extra tight ends in there. And we have heard very little from Vernon Davis, who is typically the guy they like to go to in some of these situations.
Hasn't caught a pass tonight. Second down and goal. Off the play fake. Good fake. Buys time. Cousins looking around and gets stripped from behind at the 10-yard line. JPP knocks him down at the 10, third and goal.
Yeah, I think Cousins might have escaped this if he hadn't turned around to look back. He knew JPP was coming off the edge, coming all the way around him from the outside on the right. And watch this last second little glimpse. He looks back and hesitates and then gets caught.
Yeah, those are footsteps that a lot of quarterbacks would hear.
Oh, man.
From number 90. Marshall in there on third and goal. Now you've got movement on the left side.
False start. Offense number 79. 5-yard penalty. Third down.
And that's Nsekhe, costing them 5. Remains third and goal. Push it back to the 15-yard line.
Well, and now what you end up getting in most cases is some sort of a zone defense. So now it gets really hard to try and find those openings back there, when you're a little closer to the goal line, you run those pick plays and all that are so effective, you probably don't get that opportunity now.
Giants rush 4. Cousins in trouble. On the run, throws, caught, touchdown, Jamison Crowder. Cousins slipping out of the pocket, extending the play, and that enables Crowder to get free for the game's first touchdown.
Just have to keep working on the outside. Stepping up and through was Kirk Cousins. And the one thing that breaks down zone defenses more than anything else, quarterback movement, because now you have to be responsible inside that zone for 5-6 different seconds. And Kirk Cousins finally wakes up this offense.
Crowder's 44th catch of the season, leads the team in receptions. That's his first touchdown. Nick Rose for the extra point. 6 plays that go 50 yards. Cousins to Crowder. Skins by 7. Coming up this Wednesday right here on NBC, Christmas in Rockefeller Center Live. Special performances from some of America's favorite music stars. This Wednesday right here on NBC. A lot of tailgating going on outside FedEx Field. Deep fried turkey. First time the Redskins have ever hosted a Thanksgiving game. They've had 9 on the road. Here's Vereen running it back. Out to the 28-yard line he goes. Sunday Night Football on Thanksgiving night being brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. By Sprint, works for me. By GE, imagination at work. By BMW, we only make one thing, the ultimate driving machine. 18th straight year Thanksgiving on the Mayflower. Taste of home to the public servants of D.C. on a 53-foot Mayflower truck. Parked on Pennsylvania Avenue this afternoon. Giants from the 27. Manning throws, and that's incomplete. Intended there for Evan Ingram. Second down and 10. There's Bill Callahan, who is the assistant head coach to Gruden and the offensive line coach. He was the head coach of the Oakland Raiders when they went to the Super Bowl after the 0-2 season and lost in that game to Jay Gruden's brother John. Jay was on the staff at the time as Tampa Bay defeated Oakland in San Diego.
One of the most talented offensive line coaches that there is in the game right now.
Second and 10. Orleans Darkwa for a short game. 3rd and long.
You know, Al, now with the New York Giants being behind, it's a little bit different, isn't it? Now you sort of have to open things up a little bit. This is a team that traditionally under McAdoo wanted to play 3 wide receivers, not these 3 wide receivers, but 3 wide receivers, 1 back, and go get them. But because of the fact they've had injuries on the offensive line, they've had to be more conservative. But here they are, 3rd down and long, and now here come the pass rushes.
3rd and 8. Redskins showing blitz. Are they coming? They are. And Manning fires, and it's juggled and dropped. Ingram, who started the game with a drop, drops one here. Might have had the first down as 4th down. 3 tonight for Ingram drop passes, and 8 this season. That is the most in the National Football League category. You don't want to lead in quarterbacks with the most drop passes this year. Well, Eli holds that distinction.
It's unbelievable. I mean, this guy was really drafted for one reason. Wasn't his blocking, I assure you that. He cannot hang on to it tonight.
There's Crowder, who scored the touchdown. Trying to run this one back to the 33-yard line. 5.5 remaining in the 3rd. It's Washington 10, New York 3. Five and a half minutes to play in the 3rd quarter on Thanksgiving night in our nation's capital. The Washington Redskins up 10-3. Take over now. Begin this drive at their own 33-yard line. Running back is Byron Marshall. Ryan went back to the locker room, but he's now back on the bench. Marshall, named off the Philadelphia practice squad a few days ago, gets taken down by Collins. Coming up from his safety spot. Back of the line of scrimmage, loss of 3.
I'm not sure how Landon Collins did this one. Watch all the pulling action, and he just weaves his way through traffic and makes his play. There's 2 blockers out in front, and Landon Collins just found his way right between all of them. Well, you see him everywhere. He plays back. He plays at the line of scrimmage. I think when he gets within a few yards of the line of scrimmage, he is the best safety in football.
Comes off his best game of the season. Defensive player of the week for his performance against Kansas City. Cousins fires, and that is caught, and that's Crowder. And he's tackled from behind at the 45-yard line by Dion. First down.
This is one nice move. Watch the top of this route right here. Hard fake out and back in, and just gets wide open. There has been one player who has been the difference in this game so far, and it's Jamison Crowder. He has been making play after play here tonight.
Dante Dion made the tackle and pays a bit of a price here as he is on his knees in front of the Washington bench.
On the outside, that's Kerry Wynn working against Morgan Moses to give Cousins all the time that he needed to make that play. Inseki on the other side.
Injury stoppage here as they work on the Giants cornerback. And we go to Michelle.
Well, Al, Bill Parcells not long ago was quoted as saying, the thing I like most about the Giants is Landon Collins. It looks to me like he could have played in any era and played well. I'm a big fan of his. Well, I read that quote to Collins, and he was blown away, saying, that's the first time I've heard that. The fact that he recognizes my game, that's amazing. And that coming from Bill Parcells is definitely big.
Yeah, we can understand that. And Bill tosses flowers around like, concrete boulders.
Yeah.
But when he recognizes somebody who's really doing the job, he lets him. I love Parcells' quotes. I mean, through the years, the best to me was, you are what your record says you are.
Or if you want me to make the meal, I want to buy the groceries. How about that one? That was pretty good.
That's what happened in New England.
We should have John Madden and Bill Parcells in one of those face-off things, man.
Beautiful.
The best of lines.
Crossfire. Run is back in the game. Here's the play fake. And Cousins is going to get wrapped up, and a flag comes in. It's Vernon for the moment, but you got a hold here.
Holding, offense number 79. Penalties decline. Second down.
Got through Inseki.
Olivier Vernon right here. Watch all the wiggle, and he's going against Inseki, in, out, work the hands. If you really want to watch what makes a great pass rusher, watch their hands over time. It is almost like Mortal Kombat in there with their hands and the way they work them inside and outside. And usually the rule of thumb is whoever gets their hands inside is the winner.
I never thought of that.
Stole it from Belichick.
Second and 16. Catch is made at the 48 by Ryan Grant. It'll be 3rd and long. Cockrell makes the tackle.
A whole bunch of that stuff. I can't remember who told me, but every once in a while you pass along a little credit, right?
Either that or you just take ownership of it.
I do a lot of that too.
Right. 3rd and 13 at the 48-yard line. Cousins is 16 of 25. So that's 64% for 206 yards tonight. They clock at 2. And they took too much time. Got another delay now on Washington.
Delay game, offense. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
3rd and 18 now.
Well, Kirk Cousins is trying to get the defense to show what they're doing. And let's give some credit to Spagnuolo's defense. They never flinched. He went double hard count there to try and get them to show, was it man, was it zone? Then the late motion showed them it was man, but by that point, it was over. Penalty.
Back on the Washington half of the field. Have to get to the 35 to convert. Swing it out here, and it's picked off. Down the sideline goes Janoris Jenkins. He's inside the 10, and he will get into the end zone. Janoris Jenkins with the pick and the run back, and an extra point will tie the game. 52 yards, and he's exhausted.
There is no way this could have been picked off. Marshall's going out in the flat here, and you can see that Jenkins is really nowhere close to it, but Marshall sort of set it like a volleyball player would, and it just drops gently into the hands of Jackrabbit. Looks like he got his foot stuck, and that caused part of the missed throw. His left foot got stuck in the dirt as he turned to make that throw, and it basically stumbled into the throw. Hard to tell. The knee went down, but it looked like the ball was already at least breaking the plane.
And there's Moses, who comes in.
The previous play is under review.
Under review. They'll look at it in New York. In the meantime, you got an injured Redskin, and that's Moses who's down. You also have Jenkins, who is down for the Giants. So Moses is able to get up in agony as he walks back to the Redskins sideline. But there's Jackrabbit Jenkins still on the grass.
This foot right here. It gets stuck in the dirt as Cousins tries to make that throw, consequently high. Consequently, Marshall tips it to Jenkins, and consequently a touchdown.
I mean, it was a 3rd and 18, so they're just trying to pick up a little bit of yardage. And it's the Giants who are the beneficiaries.
How about that for a turn of events? And then you can see that it was on the back of the legs, hustling back Ari Quanjo.
The on the field stands. Touchdown.
Yeah, not enough to overturn that as he gets into the end zone. And Rosas comes in to try to tie the game. Seventh career interception returned for a score. And that ties Aqib Talib for the most among active players. Rosas to tie the game, which he does. 2 minutes and 52 seconds remaining in the third. We go to Michelle.
Well, remember, Janoris Jenkins was criticized for lack of effort during that San Francisco game a couple of weeks ago, and he told me his performance last week, where he came up with an interception, wasn't about redemption. He said, I made a few plays, we got the victory. And about those who questioned him the week before, he said, that's football. They love you, they hate you, they love you again. Well, the team and Coach Ben were behind me, and that's true. Devon Kennard told me I've never questioned Jackrabbit, and Orleans Darkworth said, I don't want to hear the word lazy. Janoris is a key part of this team. He certainly has been tonight, Al.
Yes, he has been. 3 interceptions for him this season. 2 of them returned for a touchdown.
Yeah, and let's just be honest about this. A big part of the story were the New York Giants quitting on Ben McAdoo. And so that was kind of part of the evidence, and that also led to the film session in which basically, and let's face it, McAdoo this season has suspended both of his starting cornerbacks. He had a really rough film session. He has done his part as a head coach. There are always going to be people who question that. Is he Bill Parcells? Is he whatever? But he's done it.
Here's Marshall running it back up to the 30, of course, with the Giants and what was going on with the Giants. A flag is on the play.
Holding, receiving team number 38. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Among the other things that were going on in New York, you had the 2 anonymous guys who were quoted in a report as saying McAdoo lost the team. Then others came to McAdoo's defense. But that's what's going to happen in the Big Apple when you have a record at that time. I think it was 1-8.
You know what I say to that is, who cares?
I know.
When you have 50-plus people on a football team, you're going to find at least 2 of those, no matter which team you're on, that are unhappy, that are disgruntled, that think the coach is this, that thinks the coach is that. I say, who cares?
Yeah, nobody. John Mara standing there in the suite. Nobody's more disappointed than he and Steve Tisch are. From the 10-yard line. Ryan takes it out to the 14. By the way, the Giants have that decal, the initials of Joan Tisch, Steve's mother, who died a couple of weeks ago. Magnificent woman, great philanthropist, and honored there with that the decal JHT. Here's Moses, who was down on the interception return and down on one knee again.
He's the only offensive lineman that's been healthy all season. Here he is right on the end of the line of scrimmage. And it looks like Snacks Harrison got him. Boy, I tell you, we talk about it a lot, but for me, the season always starts about Thanksgiving. Who's healthy? Who has players that are ready to make that stretch run? Who's hot at the right time? And for Bill Callahan, he's got to be thinking, I'm going to have to play here pretty soon. This is not good for the Washington Redskins, because basically they do not have another tackle. Tyler Catalina, I would imagine, is the one that will go in here, but this is going to get interesting from here. The Giants should be able to win that battle, and I would imagine Callahan is going to be providing a lot of help on that right side, especially when that guy's on the attack.
Catalina, a guard, moving over, is a rookie free agent signee. Played his college ball at Georgia. 2nd and 7. Ryan, big hole on the inside give. Up to the 25-yard line. He goes. Tackled by Andrew Adams. First down.
Oh, Kelvin Shepard hasn't been playing a lot of linebacker. Watch him go into the wrong gap here. He thinks he knows what's about to happen and just runs himself completely out of the hole.
Ryan 64 yards from scrimmage tonight, averaging 3.4 per carry. To the left side, and bounces his way for a gain of 8 or 9. 2nd and short.
It's just so much easier for offensive linemen to run block than it is to pass block. And, you know, they get credit whenever the running numbers are big and the sack numbers are small, then people love offensive linemen. So what do you think offensive linemen like to do? They'd much rather run the ball and stay out of pass protection.
2nd down and 1. Ryan again finds the crease. And he's gotten hot here to the 50-yard line. He goes. Vernon Davis led the way with a nice block. A minute to go in the quarter, 16-yard gallop.
Yeah, there's nothing better than having a tight end that can make this block on an outside zone. Working against Adams on the outside and just drives him out of there. So much of this offense runs that inside zone where they're back in there cutting it back with P. Ryan inside. And occasionally when they hit that outside zone, it can just really pop. Once again, now 2 tight ends on the right side for the Redskins.
Marshall comes into the backfield as the running back from the 49. Marshall, he tries the left side. He gets around the corner. Nice gain here. Picking up 7-8 yards at a pop. Sprinkled the tight end. Took Vernon out of the play. Gain of 8. 2nd and 2.
Just simply going to come at this angle right off the tight end. Whichever way that defensive end outside linebacker goes that time. Olivia Vernon goes to the inside. Good read by the back. Byron Marshall to bounce it outside, and now Eli Manning has been sitting over there for a while.
Teams change ends. Clock runs out. End of 3. The score 10-10 on Thanksgiving night. Back after these messages. One of America's great sights. Aerial coverage tonight being brought to you by Geico. Washington on Thanksgiving night. Temperature now 34 degrees. Morgan Moses comes back in. Good news for the Redskins. And they work the right side here with P. Ryan, tackled by Collins. Close to a first down.
He just times these things out so incredibly. I'm always kind of amazed. Watch him just time it perfectly. And this is no fluke. This guy does this a lot. He ends up, over the course of a game, beginning to get a feel for the snap count of the quarterback. And unless you change the rhythm of that, you're going to see number 21 in your backfield.
From the 40. Take the P-line. Low throw over the middle. Intended for Niles Paul. Been going his way a lot tonight. Davis has not caught a pass there, number 1 tight end. I can't remember him being targeted.
Jason Pierre-Paul that time really, I think, distracted Cousins just a bit. He had to throw around those 2 big arms, and by leading it out in front and away, just altered the course of that a bit.
2nd and 10. Ryan Grant sets up in the slot to the left. Run over the left side. Tough running again to the 34. He goes. Tackled by Shepard. Go back to that 2012 draft. Pretty good draft, huh? Andrew Luck, number 1. Then Griffin comes here. The 2nd pick, Tannehill and Whedon. And down the line, Cousins was the 8th quarterback picked. And there are his numbers, 2012 through 14. Then he takes over the starting job. And he's been pretty good amongst that draft class in almost every category. 34. They flush him out and sack him back at the 45. JPP, who'd gone over a month without a sack, and picks a pretty good time to do it here, because it not only creates a 4th down, it takes him out of field goal range.
Yeah, watch this. This is the old Reggie White hump move. He's going to go inside Morgan Moses and give him that big right hook coming up, and just got Moses off balance. So Jason Pierre-Paul has had an impact here on this very important drive.
A punt now instead of a field goal attempt. That was an 11-yard sack. Tressway's kick, and he'll pin the Giants deep here as they will down the ball at about the 6-yard line. Played 2 minutes in the 4th quarter. Big sack for big number 90. Game tied 10-10. Sunday Night Football on Thanksgiving night being brought to you by E-Trade, the original place to invest online. By Chevy. Chevy has earned J.D. Power Dependability Awards for cars, trucks, and SUVs. And by American Express, reminding you that this Saturday is Small Business Saturday. Don't forget to shop small to support your community. Eastern Market on Capitol Hill has housed hundreds of local businesses since 1873. Back to Landover, Maryland we come. Manning rolls out, throws, and that's caught for a 9-yard gain by Tavares King. 2nd down and 1 for New York.
He's the one guy with a little bit of speed on the outside there, and this defense now making its mark. But that's a big play off your own goal line in a lot of ways, because remember, if you get caught holding in the end zone, it's 2 points and you could lose a football game. So now a little room to work for Eli Manning.
Some breathing space, 2nd and 1 out to the 15-yard line. And they're going to stuff him in the backfield. That's Darkwa. Can't get rolling tonight. A.J. Francis makes the tackle. And Darkwa now 11 carries, but for less than 3 yards a carry, 30 yards total.
Stacey McGee's had a nice game this evening. He really has. He's been breaking through the line of scrimmage, some tackles for loss in big situations, and they need one right here. Ordinarily, you would say 1,000% Eli Manning is throwing the football, and he does have Shane Vereen in the backfield.
Giants in this half, a total of 16 yards. And it'll stay at 16. The pass is low. Travis Rudolph, the receiver. Washington should wind up with pretty good field position as the Giants once again have to punt from deep in their own territory.
Oh, that looks like a free throw shooter who had a little concrete in the elbow. He just held on to this one and threw it right in the dirt. Oh, he was absolutely wide open, was Rudolph on that play, and should have still been running.
Punt number 8 for Brad Wing. And
I think it hit a
50-yard line. It may have. That was Fabian Moreau who it may have hit. But they're going to wind up with the football. Dangerous. They get away with it.
Well, that's the reason that you ordinarily, well, it looked like it hit the,
yeah,
I think it hit the Giants player.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a good reaction there because there's no way that anybody could tell for sure, and Crowder went and jumped on the football.
So the Redskins have it in Giants territory at the 49-yard line.
So the defense for the Redskins, they do their job. Now it's up to Kirk Cousins and his offense.
Again, good field position as they've had for most of the second half. P. Ryan, the Oklahoma rookie, takes the ball to the 46-yard line. It'll be 2nd down and 7. In his career, Jason Pierre-Paul had a field day against the Redskins, entering tonight. 9.5 sacks in 10 games. His most against any team. Adds a big one tonight. RG3, Donovan McNabb. It's the second for Cousins. All those guys are in concussion protocol. 2nd down and 6. Cousins chased out of the pocket, thrown away, chased by Jason Pierre-Paul. It'll be 3rd down and 6.
Really good recognition by the safety, Darian Thompson, this time. Watch him up here. He's going to see the crossing route, and instead of being hesitant, he's just going to jump right on it. As soon as he comes up there, Cousins had to hesitate. It's exactly where he wanted to go, but that was a quick read and a quick reaction. There's Jason Pierre-Paul chasing Cousins one more time, who's got 6 sacks tonight already, huh?
Washman with a bunch to the right. Crowder was shaken up on that punt play, so he's not in the game. 3rd down and 6. And Cousins will fire to the outside, and that'll be caught but stopped short of the first down. Maurice Harris gets tackled by Cockrell, and it's going to be 4th down, and you can see about how much, less than a yard.
Well, here we go. Decision time, and that was good play by Cockrell. Did not allow anything to happen here, and they are sending the punt team out.
Yep. The crowd tells you how much they love it.
Slot blitz. Watch the tackle by Cockrell. There's almost no way they're not picking up this 1st down, but he gets him wrapped around the head, pulls him straight down.
So Gruden does not want to give the Giants
charge timeout.
Good, well, good field position. Timeout taken here. And let's see if they're going to move the offense back onto the field.
Yes, they are. Take a look. So one thing I will say about Ross Cockrell a week ago, came in and really gave this team a little bit of a physical lift. They were much more disciplined in everything that they did in that game a week ago, and I think it's in part why they stayed with this lineup. Eli Apple, who knows, will he be back in the lineup? Not sure, but Cockrell has a way of just making heady plays like that, and I wonder if Jay Gruden may have had a fake punt that he liked, sent him out there, didn't get the look he wanted, and then comes back.
Meanwhile, the play clock is running in this particular situation. Cousins is going to, the play clock's going to run all the way down, and it's going to go to 0, and they're going to get a delay of game penalty.
Delay of game, offense, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
Well, they messed up a play last week too, even though the officials also screwed it up in New Orleans when he was called for grounding. Didn't realize the clock was going to start when the ball was signaled ready for play, and that cost them a chance to maybe win the game in regulation. And now it's 4th and 1. They send the punt group out. They called the delay game. It was 4th and 1 when they sent the punt group out, took the timeout. Now it's 4th and 6 after the penalty. And they get the kick away, and it's fielded at the 15 on a fair catch by Raymond. A little over 10 to play, and the game is tied at 10. That's how Week 12 starts Thursday night right here on NBC. as the Washington Redskins meet the Dallas Cowboys beginning at 7:30 Eastern time. The coverage starts then on Thursday Night Football. So the Giants now at the 15-yard line. And Manning throws, and that is broken up. Intended there for Lewis. Let's go back to exactly what happened here. So the Redskins had a 4th and 1 and then sent the punt group out. Then they send the offense out. Now the play clock is running at this point. Cousins is trying to call a timeout. You cannot call successive timeouts. They won't give it to you, but what they will give to you is a 5-yard delay of game penalty. So a total mess up. And it's 2nd down and 10 at the 15-yard line. And the 24. And to go back to what you said, Chris, when the punt team came out, maybe they were thinking about a fake punt at that point?
I don't know, but it was the worst of all worlds because it cost you the penalty, a timeout, and the indecision. Whatever it was embarrassing.
3rd down and 1 now at the 24-yard line with 9.5 to go in regulation.
That's coaching from the safety, DJ Swearinger.
Manning, look out. Down he goes at the 16-yard line. That's Anthony Lanier, 2nd-year guy out of Alabama A&M. Strums a tune. Eli goes down again. And it's 4th down.
Well, there's Lanier right there. But that whole play got started in the backfield. DJ Swearinger took his linebacker, Josh Harvey Clemens, and basically threw him outside in man coverage, or they were going to be in big trouble.
Brad Wing, bouncing punt. Collected at the 41-yard line. 8.5. Well, we're going to hand out some fresh turkey tonight. Turkey legs. It was Richard Sherman walking off. Ben Roethlisberger, see him Sunday. He was the player of the game. Michelle will be on the field, presiding over the feast. So our friends at Fox today decided they went no more turkey legs. They were going to give the guy a trophy. And I was watching the post game, and Case Keenum comes on, and he says, "Where's the turkey?"
Well, the thing I don't like about it is the old gobbler was made after me.
Right.
I saw that little scrawny gobbler back when I was working with Joe and Troy, and all of a sudden the gobbler's gone now. It's a good-looking bird.
From the 40-yard line. This is P. Ryan. Go to Michelle.
Well, Jamison Crowder is just getting up off the training table. They've been looking at his left knee, and it doesn't look like it's serious, but they're putting on what's called a Chopat strap, which will help realign that kneecap. You can see them putting it on him right now. I mean, he's had the touchdown. He's been so productive for them, they can ill afford to lose him. Right now, we'll see if he comes back in. Questionable, Al.
Crowder tonight, he could be in the line for a turkey. Leg, 6 catches, 124 yards. And a touchdown on 2nd and 4, a 1-yard gain here for P. Ryan. Tackled by Adams. It'll be 3rd down and 3.
Yeah, Spagnuolo's starting to crank it up against Jay Gruden. And Jay Gruden was talking about Spagnuolo and how he has every blitz imaginable. And when you have a bunch of people hurt, it makes it even tougher to figure out where all those blitzers are coming from. So game on the line, we're starting to see more action now out of this Giants defense.
3rd and 3 there. They are collectively 3 out of 13 on 3rd down. Cousins under pressure again, and down he will go with a flag thrown at the 44-yard line.
There was a lot of time and a lot of holding probably going on. Anytime a quarterback gets that much time.
Holding, defense number 37. 5-yard penalty, automatic 1st down.
Cole Cockrell and a 1st down.
Let's take a look. You can see a pretty healthy, at least what looked like a grab. Didn't seem to restrict him. Didn't see a jersey pull, but a lot closer than I am, I guess.
We have a better view. Trust me. Over right guard. P. Ryan for a gain of 10.
One of the things, you either have to reach that guy right there or just push him out of the hole. And that time, Bergstrom is just going to push him out of the hole and then leave a big gaping hole in behind there. P. Ryan has a pretty nice feel for that inside zone play. He really has good patience running that, and that's exactly what it takes, patience and vision.
He's picked it up of late, 18 carries, 90 yards. Here he goes again. He gets stuffed at the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 10.
I know everything's supposed to be about sacks, but Olivier Vernon is so good on these run plays right at him. Watch him just figure it out and physically plow back into the backfield to make a play. It's tough running at either edge, but I see very little success running over there at number 54.
2nd and 11. P. Ryan closing in on 100 yards tonight. Collins in on the tackle. 3rd down.
Well, now you really don't want to give up a touchdown, obviously, right? But the way this game is going, you almost have to begin to play for the field goal that is now about a 51-yard shot here. So 2 or 3 or 4 yards on this play, forget the first down, as significant as anything. And on the other side, Spagnuolo likely to bring some pressure to try and drive them back out of field goal range.
Crowder's back in the game. And the pass is caught over the middle, so Crowder comes back in, makes a big play. 1st down at the 15. Cockrell makes the tackle. 7 catches for Crowder tonight for 142 yards.
So patient running routes. Watch him just patiently work this route. Just going to come out and then go back hard inside. That little outside juke move has gotten him open on several occasions tonight. Boy, what a game he's had.
Tremendous. Could very well be feasting at the table with Michelle at the end of the game. At the 16-yard line. P. Ryan. He gets it to the 14, gain of 2. Shepard makes the stop. Clock ticking down to 4 minutes remaining in regulation.
P. Ryan and Crowder for turkey leg sounds like a specialty dish. Those two guys have played hard, haven't they? And this offensive line has hung in there, and everybody knew what this was going to be. It was going to be a slugfest. Neither team really was going to have the ability to pass protect against the other, and whoever runs it best probably wins. And right now the Redskins in good position.
2nd and 8. Play action. Ton of time to the end zone, and it is caught for a touchdown. Josh Doxson. $60 yards in 8 plays, and Cousins with the 2nd TD toss of the night.
Watch this play fake. Kirk Cousins takes such great pride in his ability to make those play fakes. He is the #1 quarterback off of play action passes in the National Football League, and the reason, he sells it. He sold it hard, got the one-on-one coverage, and I tell you who else sold it down the field, Josh Doxson.
No question. Beat Jackrabbit Jenkins on the play. The Redskins take a 16-10 lead with 3.5 to go. We're checking it out. Of course, it's a scoring play. Looking at it in New York to make sure he got both feet in. Play action passing through week 11. He's #1 in the league, completing almost 3 out of every 4. 2nd in yards per pass. Tied for 3rd in touchdowns. Hasn't thrown a pick, and his rating is terrific.
He is so disciplined on that outside zone handoff, bootleg, or fake. They all look the same. 4 hard steps coming out of there, and then either off on the bootleg or play action off of it. But from a defensive side of the ball, it is so hard to distinguish which one he's doing.
Nick Rose for the extra point. Kicked a screwball through the uprights. 3:31 remaining in the fourth, and the Redskins trying to go to 5-6, lead it by 7. Well, this gang heads to Pittsburgh for Sunday Night Football. The Green Bay Packers in the Steel City against the red-hot Pittsburgh Steelers. Football Night in America starts at 7 Eastern Time. NBC home of Super Bowl 52. Green Bay and the Steelers on Sunday night. 3.5 to go, and the Giants now start from the 25. And a lot of kudos should go to Greg Minuski and his group, and they've come under a lot of fire, that defense there, but they've held Manning tonight 8 out of 20 for 69 yards, albeit he hasn't been helped by his receivers with some drops.
Yeah, just one touchdown by the Giants offense, right? Norris Jenkins with the return.
Defense.
Right.
Just a field goal out of the offense. They had one touchdown last week and a missed extra point against Kansas City. From the 25 now. Manning throws, and that's about a 5-yard gain with forward progress for Lewis. Pushed back by Breeland, second down. Giants have all of their timeouts, plus the 2-minute warning. Plenty of time. Mike Sullivan calling in the next play on a 2nd down and 6. Four-man rush over the middle, short of the first down. About a 3-yard pickup to Evan Ingram. Key 3rd down coming up. 3rd and about 3. I love these kids. That is the best.
Well, they have to make a call, or they have to make a call. And the one good thing about getting the ball back in the hands of Evan Ingram, even on that little pass, trying to rebuild his confidence. It's been a tough night.
3rd and 3, 2.5 to play. Four-man rush again. Manning throws, drop. Lewis covered by Breeland. 4th and 3. And Giants are now looking over to the bench. Your McAdoo. Minuski on the other side. You've got 2 19s. If you want to kick it, you got all 3 timeouts, plus the 2-minute warning. But when you're 2 and 8, whatever, go for it. 4th and 3, and they will. Or at least line up to. And away they go. And Manning's going to get enveloped, sack, penalty. Lost the ball. Giants have it, but going to lose it on downs. See about the call. Kerrigan and Gillette.
Offense number 74. Penalties decline. First down.
Eric Flowers with the holding call. Manning goes down again.
Well, it held up pretty well all night until it mattered most. And this is exactly why the Giants are playing the kind of offense they are, the conservative style, because they just could not hold up on the outside. And for Junior Gillette, who has had Achilles issues for 2 straight years, to make a game-winning play like that, you know it has to mean something. Really, they met at the quarterback at the same time. It was just a matter of which way Manning was going to run.
That Redskin defense giving up 30 or more points in each of the last 2 weeks. Losing to Minnesota and New Orleans. And they can take time off the clock and let the Giants spend their timeouts. As it's run by Pirine down to the 16-yard line. Pirine now at 99 yards. And the clock is down to 2 minutes. Did the Giants call the timeout before the 2-minute?
Please set the game
stoppage
to 2 minutes, 5 seconds.
And they did. It's going to go back to 2:05. And that is how the winners are going to dine out in a matter of a few minutes. I think Mr. Crowder should begin to work up a little bit of an appetite.
Yeah, I feel pretty confident about that. It's been Ryan Kerrigan on the defensive side. A couple of sacks tonight, maybe.
Yeah. Well, P. Ryan,
yeah,
nothing spectacular, but 99 yards. The Giants tonight, 133 total yards, 51 plays. They're averaging 2.6 yards per play.
I'll tell you who else is at least hung in there. Morgan Moses for just showing up every night this year and playing hurt out here tonight.
2nd and 7. Landon Collins comes up to make the tackle, and the Giants were able to get the timeout on this side of the 2-minute warning.
This is the 2-minute warning.
Nope, they didn't.
2 minutes.
Our clock showed 2:01, but Terry McCauley tells us it's 2 minutes. There is your 2-minute warning. Redskins 17, Giants 10 on Thanksgiving night in D.C. Right after the game, Volkswagen post-game report. Michelle on the field dishing out turkey legs, game balls to the players of the game. Chris and I take a look at the Packers-Steelers matchup. Scenes from the past. Richard Sherman going off the field at Levi Stadium. Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers feasting on fresh turkey. Meanwhile, here's P. Ryan taking it to the 14-yard line. The Giants will take a timeout here, and they have one remaining.
A little look at that last touchdown from Kirk Cousins. A little NBC 360. Play fake so hard off to the right. All the defense moves that way. Comes back to Josh Doxson, who took his time and timed it out perfectly. He was breaking out just when Cousins ready to throw it. Nice when it works like that. He's a tough guy. I'll tell you, that Saints game, he was taking some shots in that game.
And he's been sacked 6 times tonight. Meanwhile, it's 4th down. Trying to make it a 2-possession game here on a field goal attempt.
Here's where it always gets crazy inside, because the one chance for a quick score is always on a blocked field goal. You will see the masses. Can't get over the center, but you can get right next to them.
33-yard attempt. And that one is good inside the right upright for Nick Rose. With 1:49 to go, the Giants will get the ball. They have one timeout, and Washington's lead is 10. Update the playoff picture for you in the NFC. Philadelphia, of course, on top in the East, have all but clinched it. The Minnesota Vikings 9-2 beat Detroit today. Saints are red hot, won 8 in a row. Rams lead the West 7-3. If the season ended right now, Carolina and Atlanta would be the wild cards, but Seattle and Detroit have the same record as Atlanta. Green Bay still in it. Dallas right on the edge right now at 5-6, as is Washington. They figure to go to 5-6. Arizona and Tampa Bay still barely alive.
A lot of meat left on that bone in this football season. A lot to still happen.
All these good Thanksgiving reminders. And that kickoff will result in a touchback.
You know, one of the best stories we heard this weekend was from Jay Gruden, who was in the Arena League as a player, then a coach, then back as a player again. At one point, when he was a coach, he cut this one guy. Went back as a player, and that guy broke his leg and got on top of Jay and said, "I got you back." And he'll never forget it. He wanted us to say his name. I'm going to avoid that. Who knows?
Oh, we'll say it. It's Kelvin Ingram, right?
There you go.
I think that's the guy who played in the league a lot of years.
He said, say his name and tell him I still have the plate and the screws in my ankle.
Consider it done. Little dump pass over the middle. Green trying to get out of bounds to save a timeout, but he can't. 2nd down. Funny because I looked up a list of the arena players, the best of all time. Gruden was 4th. I read it off to him. He said, no, I was 3rd. Either way, here's Manning throwing, and that's caught in Redskin territory, and this is King taking the ball to the Washington 39-yard line. Hustling up to the line to save that timeout. Minute and 16, but the Giants elect to take it right here.
That was a big tackle that time by DJ Swearinger on the tail end of that. It looked like one of those plays that might be one of those catch and runs, and tough to make that tackle. That is what safeties have to do in the middle of the field. Well, that is such a tough play against wide receivers and running backs that break it up the middle, but the good ones can get them on the ground. Almost broke that one.
Minute and 16. Ball at the Washington 39-yard line. The pass Manning went over 100 yards. Thrown for 113 tonight. Eli hit as he throws, and that will be picked off at the 14-yard line. And that will write a finish to it. And Kendall Fuller, having a really good year, will just about end it. Junior Gillette put the pressure on Manning, hit him as he threw. McAdoo can only look on as his team is on the cusp of now going to 2-9, and the Redskins can run the clock out.
Well, and the only reason he got it off is because Eric Flowers was holding on Gillette coming off the edge. That was the good news. The bad news was that maybe one of the best slot cornerbacks in all of football made that play. We haven't talked about him tonight, but not only is he tremendous in coverage, averaging a 58 quarterback rating when you throw at Kendall Fuller, but you see him making all kinds of physical plays in the run game. I really like him, and it's just that he came up with that big game winner.
The 4 Fuller brothers, 2 of them are still playing in the league. One retired a few years ago. All went to Virginia Tech. So a couple of kneel downs, and that will take us to our post game. In the meantime, let's go to Michelle.
Well, Kendall Fuller is a guy that Josh Norman told me is an unsung hero on this defense. Norman said Fuller has really been growing up. Last year to this year is night and day. He's one of the strongest guys on the back end. He's playing on another level. He's a ball hawk. Just proved that. And he said, I give him encouragement, and I want to give him a plug. That from Josh Norman now.
Yeah, and he deserves it. Norman has no interceptions this season. Of course, they avoid him a lot. Fuller now has 4. One kneel down will take Washington to a record of 5 wins and 6 losses. Their next game is next Thursday night here on NBC as they meet Dallas. The Giants next week, a week from Sunday, will go to Oakland.
Pretty impressive to bounce back after that loss in New Orleans that had to take the heart out of anybody. It was a 15-point lead,
right.
3 minutes to go in the game, and blow that one and come back in a short week and get it done.
Get it done. Injuries all over the place. The feast is ahead. Coming up next, Volkswagen post-game report after these messages.